Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for the floor. My name is Tomasz Kisielewicz. I'm PhD in electrical engineering, so I'm an engineer. I will make a comment also on it. This day I will be speaking about the modern technologies and technical standards development, because it was really nice to hear what was developed till now. I hope that my speech and the illustration will give you another perspective. But firstly, I would like to ask you if you give me the time and the floor to illustrate the concept, because I have seen in the agenda that already I'm over the time, and I hope that you can accept it.
20 minutes.
Okay, so very good, very good,
Equality of time.
really good. So this presentation is a part of the book chapter preparation, focus on technical standards for service continuity provision of critical infrastructures. As I have stressed at the beginning, I'm an engineer. So this is a kind of the philosophy of thinking, because an engineer needs to possess an instruction, some elements, some products, and is capable to develop the final result. This is the regular way of thinking. In terms of, how to say, scientific engineer is capable to develop a new solution in terms of the innovation, in terms of the process innovation, and in terms of the technology innovation. In my case, I'm over 10 years of experience in terms of the process innovation development and technology development itself. And just to illustrate what I will be speaking about, firstly, I will give you the introduction to the topic, to the area, just to familiarize with the words, with the concept. Further, I will speak about the standardization itself, technical standardization, how it looks like, what kind of the benefits could bring to the all ideas which was heard during this conference, especially in terms of the AI, in terms of the machine learning, in terms of other technologies which are associated with the information technology concept itself. Nevertheless, so it will be in terms of the second point. Also, I will give you a kind of the illustration about the standardization works itself, how it looks like, how it's possible to be inserted there, and how it's possible to bring some benefits at national level also. Also, what we have heard during the first day, to strengthen the diversity, what I really like, because due to the diversity, we have the innovation. Without diversity, we have no innovation. So this is the principal concept. Also, I will tell you something about the applications itself, so how these tools, how these elements could be applied in the practical cases. Later, I will stress something about the challenges, because even it seems that the direction is clear, it's possible to figure out some elements which are unclear, but are not clear due to the knowledge which possesses an individual person. And later, I try to conclude. So this is, how to say, the schedule of my speech. In terms of the standards, basically, in an unconscious level, we are expecting that something will be stable, which will be reliable, which could be referred on. And basically, the standards, technical standards, are associated with the past, with the, how to say, proven concept, proven elements. Nevertheless, on the base of my practical experience directly in the International Electrotechnical Commission in more or less in 2013, when I have dealt with the service continuity provision of smart cities, smart areas, at this stage, such concept, it was unknown, at least in Poland. At least it was really huge novelty, but it was possible to develop, and finally, at this time, the standards, the regulations could be applied. Okay. In terms of the modern technologies, in terms of the process innovation, or in terms of the technology development itself, in terms of the product, or the mobile or another device could be applied, because we have seen also this day that the military applications has different how to say, area of operation, and also what we have heard about the dual mode of application. And this is associated with the fact that the learning process is much more quicker in the civil society, in the civil environment. So the data collection and the evaluation of the tool is quicker in the civil society than in the military, due to the fact that occurrence frequency is much more elevated in the civil side. So this is the concept why we are speaking about this dual use. In terms of the innovation, so we could speak about the national innovation, European innovation level, and international. Okay, so these standards, which are created on the base of the at the level of the International Electrotechnical Commission, are referred to the worldwide innovation, and just to assure the transfer of goods and to assure the quality of the product process, just to, how to say, to create a common surface for the engineers. And I will be speaking about this concept later, but basically we are speaking about the modern technologies toward the future. And take into account the actors which are involved in such a standardization area and the modern technologies development. Basically, we could distinguish the companies, universities, R&D institutes, and this is the, hard to say, the principal area. Of course, someone could tell that government is involved, but government could be involved in an indirect way toward the dependent institute, which is working on specific favor. What we have heard this day during this speech from our environment. And from the practical point of view, the proportion in terms of the universities and industries' involvement in the process, as it is visible on this slide, is changing, because in terms of the modern technologies, the much more active group is from the companies, from the industries, because they would like to sell, they would like to keep the top position, innovation, and so on. And how to say, the quantity of universities, institutes is reduced. This is the natural factor. In terms of the standards development itself, the proportion is opposite. It's opposite. And as we can figure out currently, we are creating a kind of the regular loop cycle where we could figure out that the person from the universities, institutions, if they are involved in the standardization process, they are capable, they are able to express much more clearly the technologies, the work itself, taking into account the theoretical background explanation. So at least in terms of the technological studies and environment. And from my experience, basically, I don't want to say 100% that people are the same, which are dealing with this standards and modern technologies, but we could assume that the over 50% is, how to say, in the same loop, and they know each other. This is also quite beneficial in terms of the information sharing, in terms of the concept sharing and the learning process, because probably without such environment, it's quite complicated to have an access to top level manager from R&D part of top company, I suppose, because the time limit, etc., etc. Okay. In terms of the standardization, this is the illustration how we can move in this forest of information. So we should firstly distinguish the level of the implementation of the standard. So we could have the international, European, and national. At least in Poland, at national level, we have the Polish Committee for Standardization. In Germany, we have the VDE, which is really active, and also all of us has benefits of VDE activities, because if you will realize, if you will observe the plug from your electrical devices, you will find the logo there, VDE. So it means that standardization is close to us, but we don't, probably not all of us has the knowledge about the standardization itself. And also we could distinguish some pillars in terms of the field of implementation, like the general standards, like the electrotechnical standards and the telecommunication standards. And also we could see at which level the standards are referring to. So if we are dealing with the standards at international level, we are fulfilling all needs which appeared at United Nations. So there is the kind of the direction, so we should reduce, we should facilitate, we should assure the transparency and so on. So how to say the political statements, political direction. So this is the how to say the philosophy, and taking into account the measurable. So the quantity, quality, so how to assure and how to create the freedom of market, because it's also necessary to create, how to say, the competencies to free access and so on. Of course, the standards are in line each other. But what is the, what I mean directly in line? For example, in terms of the electrotechnical, in terms of the IEC, Senelec, the much more up-to-date standards appearing at international level due to obvious reason, but consequently they are adopted properly at a European level, take into account some difficulties which appear at the European level. This is doing in terms of the Senelec framework. So this is, from practical point of view, the first letters are changing. I will give you also an example later when I will switch toward the Polish committee. And finally, we have the national level, so which is in my case is the Polish Committee for Standardization. And more or less, we could assure that the standards are in line with which are covering the same topic. But what we could see, what we could figure out already, that the time, the access to the information is different at different level. So if you would like to be up to date, of course you could be on the top, because yeah, further, and this delay, I can tell you that it's not expressing in weeks, but it's rather expressing in years. It's rather expressing in years between different levels. And I can give you an example from practical point of view, because for an engineer it could be also a nightmare how to recognize which standards should be applied, which not. For example, for the lighting protection, is the 62305-1 till 4. Lighting protection, so the natural hazard is standardized in terms of the risk assessment, in terms of the protection measure selection, risk evaluation, etc., etc. So everything is standardized. And at the international level, there is the abbreviation IEC 62305-1. At European level is the EN 62305-1, for example. And at national level is PNN 62305-1. So we can see that the number is the same. And the critical aspect in terms of the standardization bodies is always associated with the experts, because somebody needs to develop this works. The standards are not working, how to say, not appearing during the night by themselves, but somebody needs to prepare. And also it's quite interesting work, because from one side we should achieve the common agreement, how to say, democratic rules, but in a scientific way, so the numbers are talking. So we can't express that the two is lower than 1, for example. 2 is 2 and 1 is 1. And I think that the crucial role is associated to the national committee and working meetings. So this is, if you have a key points at national level, so you are really, how to say, effective, and you have the access to technology, to the information, and from the practical point of view. And also if the policy at national level is in favor of such development, so rational development, times to times is a kind of the bypass, even at between the European level. Because if somebody would like to have the international standard at national level, is using directly by the adequate citation. For example, in Polish case, PNEAC, and for this and the number of the standard. And in such way, the companies which are producing something could be directly in line with requirements. Okay. Later, because it was, how to say, ex cathedra a bit, the explanation, but from the practical point of view, you have the IEC web page, for example, and you can check what is already available. Here you could see 2 examples on the left side. One of them is related to the critical infrastructure. I have shown, I was searching this even this morning just to illustrate you up-to-date data results. To energy, what kind of the energy regulations are already, how to say, on the place? What kind of the documents could be used already just to assure the power quality, just to assure the service continuity provision. And you could see also that you have the several standards, you have the several technical reports, and so on and so on. And you could see that you have a really huge community which is dealing with this fact. Also, what is quite interesting, and I would like to also mention that even if we are speaking about the artificial intelligence, like how to say, something new which is not discovered and so on, we have already 25 documents. What is the artificial intelligence? What is the definition? Because if you are, how to say, familiar with this aspect, at European level, times to times it's possible to hear, no, we don't know what is the artificial intelligence. We don't know what is the system, etc., etc. Here everything is described. So step by step, there is, how to say, water is water, how to say, wine is wine. So there is nothing between in terms of the definition. Also, what we could see, there is a kind of all of us probably have used the Wikipedia. So I think that you are familiar. International Electrotechnical Commission has prepared a kind of the electropedia. And over there is you can find free of charge the definition of such technical aspects, which could be a kind of the nightmare to create an own definition. Also, take into account that we are in such a fantastic environment that we are dealing with defense aspects. I would like to tell you that also not only the Electropedia exists, but exists also the Tidepedia, which is created by NATO. So we can also check, but I have not illustrated here due to the time limit. And also, but we can check, and all, how to say, the devices could be used. In terms of the how to say, critical infrastructure, just this is the example. This is for this. I can explain it on the base of the energy production in terms of the electricity production. So we could have on the left side in terms of the A as the input, the gas or coal or whatever. We have the externally supplementary resources like water, like to cool down the devices, like the electricity, and so on, also the information layer, and so on. And finally, we have our product. And within this box, this black box, no, this is white box here, we have the process transformation. And if we reflect carefully in the standards, what was illustrated, some crucial principal elements are described and could be easily implemented at national level, which is already done, which is also doing like that. And some countries are much more in advance, some countries are not so in advance. But yeah, this is also, how to say, the life part. And in terms of the critical infrastructures, how to say that the classification, how it's possible to make this cake and how it's possible to divide, I think that we could distinguish three elements like infrastructure components, so the, how to say, the heart, the physical layer, later related to the process transformation, how the products could be operated within, and later related to the information data. So in terms of the signals in the elements itself. Also this concept, how to say, if we refer the previous slide and this, how to say, classification, we could apply it also for the cognitive warfare, etc., etc. So this is how to say the universal form itself. I don't know if I would like to say disadvantage, but the feature of this is that at the beginning we have a problem with big data, because the standards and how to move, so it requires a kind of the skills, capability, adaptability to recognize what is the crucial and what is the secondary, supplementary, etc. Of course, the time, effort create the product. And for example, also taking into account this environment, I would like to tell you that in terms of the joint work of the ISO and IEC has been creating the advisory group on emerging technology and innovation. So probably they have discovered or better formulated something in terms of the innovation, not only in the military environment, so taking into account the NATO store output, but also in the civil environment. I don't want to create any publicity in terms of the companies which are involved, but I can tell you probably later. In terms of the challenges itself, I think that this Deming cycle is well known for you, and also probably due to the time limit, I will not go into the details. So the direction, collection, processing, and production. So in terms of the loop, because we can't expect that we will have, how to say, the final product after the first interaction, because after the first interaction we have the, how to say, the lessons learned, we have the first experience, and we can go toward the, how to say, the distinguish the classification between the area, like the people, infrastructure, process, data transformation, information, then data itself. So in these areas we could move like that. In terms of the functionality of the modern technology itself, because not only the standards could be applied, but also a kind of the axiology itself. So it is, for a typical engineer, is quite complicated, but I think that it's working if somebody reflects. The simplest concept is related to the LM, impacts of novel technologies, so ethical, legal, and moral aspects. So reflecting how the system, how the tool will be working, taking into account such three elements. And we have also much more complex related to the LSA, where we have the social and environmental issues to be considered. But it's, for example, for the lawyers, it's easy because it's like with the justice and the social justice aspects. So this is, we could complicate the simple things or simplify the, yeah. In terms of the challenges, current challenges, just to underline in terms of the modern technologies, we could have this sandbox environment where we are developing the solution itself. And there is possible to use the technical research level approach. I don't want to go too much into the details right now. And also the technical evaluation facility. So the first step, the illustration on the left side is if we have something which we possess as the product, or we would like to develop a specific product to fulfill in a specific environment, but we are unknown and we are unsure about the consequences, especially in terms of the AI and machine learning, because the input at the time of the installation is completely different than after 6 months of operation, and not only in the loop of the operation of the system, but also in terms of the impact of the system on the user and the operator. Because this is, we could give a simple example. In Poland, we are speaking in Polish because the Polish people are using the Polish language. In Hungarian, we are using Hungarian language because at the places this language is using, and also this is a huge risk. And if we not make such approach in a coordinated way, it's quite complicated, especially in terms of the public services. And also in this area, the European Commission is strongly active in terms of the working group, working expert groups in terms of the digitalization of business. Technical evaluation facility, just to, how to say, the rules, how then the organization, I don't want to express in terms of the institution, but the collection of the rules which permits to evaluate the working product in the specific area of implementation and the challenges, technical standards, legal regulations. Last but not least, I could summarize that ALM, LSA concept could be applied to modern technologies development and deployment. And what we have heard already, problems are holistic. We can't take the problem only from one aspect, but we should reflect the huge, the plenty impact of the, how to say, the solution proposed. Standards implementation can positively affect human component. Standards implementation can positively affect technology components reliability. Standards implementation can assure process, infrastructure transparency. Standards interpretation can strengthen innovation in implementation development, and I'm using the can because everything is the key in the human factor, because we know also very well in terms of the sabotage, misinformation, and etc. And at this stage, I would like to thank you very much for your kind attention, and I hope that I have used my time properly. Thank you.